We got a little bit more news on Ghost of Yotei. They kind of shadow dropped a new trailer. We got a release date. The release date of Ghost of Yotei is going to be October 2nd, 2025. So the theme of this game is revenge, but also Atsu is going to be overcoming some trauma, which is kind of interesting because in the original Ghost of Tsushima, then the theme was kind of honor, and then Jin kind of had to learn that sometimes to do the most good you do have to kind of sacrifice your own honor in order to for the greater good. Like if he's strictly adhering to this honor thing, then people were going to be dying along the way, but him doing the dishonorable thing was actually a way to save more lives. And so that was kind of him reconciling that. And this one, revenge is going to be a really big theme, but it does say that Atsu is going to be affected by those around her. And so it looks like we might actually get the flip of that, where she's going to be a little more dishonorable and kind of, more of the outlaw. But then as she goes along, she's going to find that revenge might not be necessarily the best case. And maybe, we need to look at things from a different, don't allow it to consume you. So it looks like we might get kind of an inverse of Jin's journey, which is kind of an interesting little twist. I mean, it is a bit stereotypical, of course, but it is kind of an interesting twist. So we found out who the antagonists are going to be. They are going to be the Yotei 6. They're going to be the snake, the Oni, the kitsune, the spider, the dragon, and Lord Saito. And Atsu has a kill list. So we've seen her with this kind of banner thing with a bunch of words on it. And those words are the names of the different characters. So, let's say fox, spider, dragon, that sort of thing on it. And so, we see her sometimes she takes the sword and she wipes the sword off on this banner. So basically that's kind of a cool little thing is after she defeats one of these guys, she's got the blood on her sword and she uses their own blood to cross their name off the list. So this banner is going to be really important throughout the game. They say that it's going to be on her at all times, regardless of which outfit you're wearing. She's always going to have this banner thing on her, or a belt, they call it sometimes. I don't know if that's a translation thing or whatnot, but that's going to be a really big theme. And then one of the things that in the interview that was really interesting was they said the player is free to travel and challenge the 6 Yotei clan rather than dictating it from the game side. The game is designed so that players can find the location of the Yotei 6 on their own and take on the challenge of avenging them. So this is really exciting for me because I mentioned in our previous coverage of Ghost of Yotei, I was kind of hoping for kind of a Mega Man thing where there was no set order of the guys you had to take out. You could take them out however you wanted. And it looks like that might be the case. So I'm kind of excited that they're doing it that way. So it's less of a linear game and it's less vertical and more horizontal, right? You can kind of go out and defeat who you want. I don't know how they're going to do that exactly. If this was my perfect world, and this is not speculation, this is just me if I was a game designer, what I would probably do is I would just have a set of triggers for each guy where, as you kill them, they get more and more paranoid. So, it ups the challenge. The first one's pretty easy. Second one's a little bit harder. And as they go, they get more challenging. But for me, also, I think that would be cool because it would give you a little more replay value. Because if I play and I kill this guy first, it's going to be, if I kill him third or kill him last, it's going to be a very different experience because he's going to be in a different location. He's going to, have different defenses because he's expecting it. So I think that'd be a really cool way to do some replay value. I don't know if they're going to do that, but that's what I would have loved to see. We also got another weapon that wasn't previously mentioned. So we still know that there's the katana, the dual katana, the odachi, the kusarigama, and we know that there's guns. Okay, they said that gunpowder is going to be a big weapon, so not just guns, but like grenades, explosives. But we also see a spear. So a spear is also going to be another weapon in there. And they said that you're going to have different teachers for each weapon. So each weapon is going to be distinct. Each weapon is going to have... So it's going to be more like the longbow in Ghost of Tsushima, where you meet the guy who's kind of the longbow master, and he gives you the longbow, and then, as you train with him, you gain more experience with it. But you could, in theory, just totally skip him and never get the longbow. So it looks like the weapons here are going to be more like that for all your extra stuff. And they said that one of the things that they were going for is they wanted this kind of learning martial arts from scratch feel. So whereas Jin Sakai is a samurai, so he has a lot of combat experience, Atsu does not. And so she's going to start off kind of rough. And as you go along, you're going to train with these weapons. And you're going to train with the masters, and you're going to get better with them. So I think that's kind of an interesting little thing there too, is, she's going to not have, and it makes sense why she doesn't have all these abilities locked up from the beginning, because she has to learn them. They also say that wolves are going to play a big part in this game. So, there's going to be multiple times where she's going to come and come in contact with wolves. And there's in the trailer when she pulls out the sword, her what do you call I guess it's the guard, has kind of a wolf motif. And she is a lone wolf, you know, and that sort of thing. And then they even have one of the characters mentions that she uses a term, and she says, "Oh, it's somebody who easily gets lost on the hunt." So wolves are going to be a big part of Atsu's thing. Will she be able to command them directly? I don't know. They do show them attacking enemies, so they will be present. They will be combat ready, so that'll be really cool. We're also getting some representation for the Ainu people. So that character that I mentioned that was an Ainu individual, and they said that they went to Hokkaido and they met with tribal leaders, and they really wanted to incorporate them into Ghost of Yotei. And they said also, so we're not going to be getting big cities. They did say that Yotei at this time, or not Yotei, but Hokkaido at this time, was a very lawless place. You know, you had the tribal people, and the Japanese were just starting to come in, so there wasn't really an established government. So it was like the wild, wild west. So that's kind of what you're going to be getting here. You know, it's going to be all over the place. They said that they will feature different seasons, but it's going to be more similar to Ghost of Tsushima, not Assassin's Creed Shadow. So Assassin's Creed Shadow does dynamic seasons where the game world changes over time and you can move through the seasons, and then, you know, the seasons are going to change things. This is going to be more like Ghost of Tsushima, where different areas are going to be representing different seasons. So you go to one part of the island, and things are going to be, you know, flowers are going to be coming into bloom, and you go to a different part of the island and it's going to be more, you know, gloomy and dead trees, so more like autumn, and another part's going to have snowy fields. So rather than dynamic seasons, you're going to get different zones that are going to represent the different seasons, which is cool. But, you know, I do think the Assassin's Creed Shadows method is a little bit cooler. I would have loved to see dynamic seasons across the map, but that is hard to do, and that does take a lot of extra work to make sure that every area is modeled for every season. So I do understand why they didn't do it, but it is a little bit disappointing. So yeah, it looks great. I am completely sold. I am not in the least bit discouraged, and I'm really looking forward to this. I really like the idea of all these different weapons. I'm really hoping that they do another Legends like they did with Ghost of Tsushima. The different legends will specialize in different weapon types. So, you know, one of them might be really good with a spear. One of them might focus on the samurai might focus on the adachi, or the katana. You know, the ronin might focus on dual katana or something like that. Or, you know, each one can maybe equip a couple different ones. So I'm really looking forward to this. Super happy. October 2nd. Look forward to it. It's going to disrupt my my typical Halloween streaming plans, but it is what it is.